Okay guys, so meal prep is commencing. I'm getting all of my produce. I always lay out everything that I need for my meal prep. So I make a big list of all my pantry items, refrigerator items, and then I just pull everything out. So this is, I think I have everything. I have to go check my list, but this should be all the food and stuff that I need. I brought that monster out. I hate my food processor, but I have a lot of cheese to shred, so I pulled that monster out. Have my little chopper right there. Gilmore Girls for like the at least 5th or 6th time that I've rewatched the entire series. So we're gonna watch that while we are meal prepping. Air fryer, pressure cooker. Now I just need to get my containers out and we are ready to meal prep. So let's get into the video. So while I'm working on some prepping before the prep, as I like to call it, I'm going to also brown up some ground beef I need for one of my lunches, and also this chorizo seasoned sausage that I'm using for a breakfast bake. So I like to multitask when I'm meal prepping, and so any kind of protein that needs to be cooked, I like to get that out of the way in the very beginning. And also what I like to do is do all the pre-prep, which is any cheese shredding, vegetable chopping, that kind of thing. So while that meat is cooking, I'm going to start off with shredding up this cheese. I can tell you guys, I absolutely cannot stand this food processor. It's huge, it's bulky, it's hard to clean, it's hard to store, but it does shred up cheese beautifully. So I'm going to go ahead and use it. I'm glad I didn't toss it. I almost did so many times. I also thought this may work for my Brussels sprouts that I need for a salad later on this week, but it got a little bit too pulverized for me. That's another thing with this food processor. It's either like nothing or like full speed ahead. It's just too much. So I went ahead and just chopped up the Brussels sprouts with my knife. Can you guys tell me, is there an easier way? I cannot find Brussels sprouts already pre-shredded, and except for at Trader Joe's, but I live too far away to go up there very often. So anyway, I'm just doing it with my knife. And then next up, I'm going to use this new chopper that I got from one of my sweet subscribers. It's from Pampered Chef, and I can tell you guys, I absolutely love this thing already. I mean, wow, look how it chops up these red peppers. It is amazing. I can't wait to use this more and more. So these red peppers I am going to be using for a meatball recipe that you guys will be seeing here very soon. So I'm finished up. So to finish up my pre-prep, I'm going to go ahead and chop up some green onion, some jalapenos, and then also cut up some celery sticks. Okay, so now that the pre-prep is done, let's get on to the meals. I'm going to try out another breakfast bake this week. This one is called I think it's Cheesy Chorizo Breakfast Bake. It's out of the Craveable Keto Cookbook, but when I looked on her website, it's also on her website, so I will go ahead and link that recipe down below. So to a skillet, I added in 2 tablespoons of butter, let that melt, and let the skillet get nice and hot, and I'm adding in 1/2 cup of diced up onion. I'm just using frozen onion that I had in my freezer already, adding some salt and pepper to that also. So you want to go ahead and let these onions cook until they are nice and caramelized. So it took mine about 10 to 15 minutes to do that. So once my onions are nice and brown, I'm going to go ahead and add in the chorizo. I don't believe the recipe calls for the meat to be cooked ahead of time, but I chose to do it this way just to get it done while I was going ahead and cooking up that other meat. So if your meat is not cooked, you definitely want to cook it all the way through before you go to this next step. So the next step is to add in 4 ounces of cream cheese. So you want to go ahead and stir that around really good and then let the cream cheese melt. So while that meat mixture and the cream cheese is getting all melty and nice and yummy, I'm going to go ahead and get the topping done. So to a bowl, I'm adding in 6 eggs, 2/3 cup of shredded cheddar, 1/2 cup of shredded Parmesan cheese. So I'm going to go ahead and give that a good stir until it's nice and combined. So now that the meat mixture is all done, I'm going to go ahead and pour that into a casserole dish. I believe the recipe calls for you using an 8x8 square dish, but I don't have one. So I'm just using this 11x7. It's the smallest dish that I have besides round ones. So now once the meat mixture is all in and flattened out, I'm gonna go ahead and pour the egg cheese mixture on top. So this needs to go into a 350-degree oven. The recipe says for 30 minutes, but since mine is kind of thinner because it's in the bigger dish, I went ahead and just put it in there for 20, and mine was done after 20. So definitely check it to see, depending on the size of dish you use, to see if yours may be done sooner or it could take longer. So this makes 8 servings, and I've never had chorizo before, but this is just a chorizo seasoned sausage, but I can tell you guys this smelled amazing while it was cooking, and when I do have this for breakfast, I'm going to pair it with some avocado. So for one of my lunches this week, I am having meatballs. So I'm going to go ahead and make these ones in the air fryer, which I'm sure is no surprise to anyone since y'all know how much I love my air fryer. So in my bowl here, I have a half of a red pepper that you saw me dice up earlier. So to that, I'm adding in 1 pound of ground turkey, 1 egg, some fresh parsley and fresh cilantro that I just chopped up pretty finely, some salt and pepper. So for me, the best way to always mix these kind of things is with my hands. Hopefully this doesn't offend anyone. It's just the easiest for me. So while mixing, I also decided I wanted to add in some more spice. So I added in some of Trader Joe's onion salt and also some red pepper flakes. I meant to add in some sriracha, but I completely forgot until I started forming the meatballs. So I really think sriracha would be really good in these if you like that flavor. So now time to form these into some balls. Mine made 15 meatballs. I think it just depends on what size you make them. I felt like these were pretty good size balls. So these will go into your air fryer at 400 degrees for 10 minutes. Now I did check mine after about 7 minutes and kind of moved them around a little bit, but I saw they needed just a few more minutes, so they took about 10 minutes total. Now, if you don't have an air fryer, you can cook these in your oven. So just cook them at 400 degrees for about 20 minutes. Check on them and just make sure they're all cooked through. And this is how they look when they are all done. They smelled amazing. They look amazing. And here is how I plan on eating the meatballs this week. I have a bed of spring mix in my bowl. I topped that with some blue cheese, some onions, some tomatoes, and then for the meatballs, I will top this with some avocado and then also some blue cheese dressing. So this is going to be so yummy, and I cannot wait to have this for lunch this week. The other lunch I will be having will be taco salads. So as you saw earlier, I cooked up some taco meat. I also added in some of my homemade taco seasoning to that. Added just a little bit of water just to kind of get the seasoning mixed around really well. And here is one of the taco salads. So I have some spring mix, some tomato, onion, cheddar cheese, and then 4 ounces of the taco meat on top. I will add in some avocado, and then I also have some sour cream and salsa in my little containers here. So as usual, I prepped some hard-boiled eggs in my pressure cooker for snacks and then also for salads this week. For me, the pressure cooker is the best way to cook eggs. I use the 5-5-5 method, 5 minutes on the steam setting, 5 minutes of natural release, and then 5 minutes in the ice bath. And normally they peel super, super easily, but I left them in the ice bath for like 20-30 minutes or something like that, and I noticed that if I leave them in the ice bath for too long, they don't peel as easily. I normally like to leave them in there no longer than like 8 minutes, and they still peel fantastic. So it was just a little bit trickier this time. Another snack I will be having is this blue cheese dip with some celery sticks. I tried this dip and it is so, so good, you guys. It has like caramelized onion in it. Oh, I love it. And then I also prepped some keto cornbread for dinner later on this week, and also some cinnamon muffins. These recipes will be in a separate video coming at you on Friday. I wanted to do them in a separate video because I always get questions about these types of things, and this way I can locate the video easily if people really want to try these recipes. So don't forget to check out my other meal prep videos that will be linked here on the screen and also down below. Thank you guys so, so much for watching, and please subscribe if you have not already done so, and hit that notification bell to be notified when I upload. So I will see you all in the next video. Bye guys.